Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
On our final show for 2019, we first head over to the UK and to the Oulton Park circuit in the heart of Cheshire for rounds 13 to 15 of the British Touring Car Championship. Then we head across to the Middle East and to the streets of Diriyah in Saudi Arabia as Season 6 of the FIA Formula E Championship gets underway with the opening race of 2019-20. It's race 1 of the Diriyah E-Prix. This is Speedweek.
Colin Turkington leads the British Touring Car Championship as he seeks to defend the title he won last year. No race victories for him at Croft. They went the way of Andrew Jordan and Tom Chilton. Andrew Jordan began the opening race of 3 in pole position and was looking for his 4th British Touring Car Championship victory of the season. He led, with Chris Smiley second in the early stages ahead of Colin Turkington and Tom Chilton. The opening exchanges were fraught, with Osborne hitting the grass and ending up in a spin. Ollie Jackson was battling in the lower end of the top 10, but his challenge ended after making contact with a safety barrier. A safety car period followed a race-ending crash for Rob Collard, while teammates Tom Oliphant and Turkington made contact midway through the contest, with the reigning champion just about holding off his colleagues' advances. Nick Hamilton also slid off in a separate accident, as Collard's Vauxhall Astra had gone backwards into the tyre wall. It broke the left rear toe link, meaning it had to be pulled out of the mud before being lifted onto a recovery vehicle. It led to a lengthy delay, and as a result, the race was extended by a maximum 3 laps. Dan Camish and Ash Sutton battled throughout, including light contact at one point to claim 6th and 7th respectively. Michael Crease slid out of the race, heading into the complex, coming to a stop against the tyre barrier. At the checkered flag, Andrew Jordan took the victory following an assured drive, having dealt with the race-long attention from Chris Smiley to continue his race-winning form from Thuxton. On the final lap of race 2, Smiley would spin off as he tried to defend from Ash Sutton, just 2 corners from the end of the race. At the flag, it was win number 2 for Andrew Jordan. Wet conditions for the 3rd and final race at Croft, with Tom Chilton starting from pole position and being chased by Josh Cook and Jason Plato. Goff would end up facing the wrong way as he and Smiley came into contact with one another. It meant a short safety car period. Racing resumed, with Chilton still leading. Tom Ingram paid the price of a pre-race gamble as he opted for dry tyres on the wet surface. And he was the fastest driver out there when the track dried, but it was too late to mount a challenge. Ash Sutton made a late eye-catching pass by Matt Neal at the final hairpin and would go on to snatch fourth, with the former champion having to settle for fifth. Tom Chilton had defended for almost the entire race from Josh Cook and Jason Plato as they held station for the 17-lap duration. They made several attempts to get past, but were unable to make a move stick. So Chilton went on to claim the win, which ignites his championship challenge. The result also means a return to the podium for Plato, his first of this season, as the two-time champion continues his impressive campaign. Colin Turkington continues to lead the way in the championship standings, and he increases his advantage into the next round at Oulton Park.
Colin Turkington, 48 wins. He's 2 off the magic 50 that could come today. Let's see, as we've got there, Dick Bennett, the man behind WSR, heading back towards the pit garage, ready to watch the action unfold. So the green flag is waved at the back. Round 13 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is go. Good start by Turkington, slow start in comparison by Tordoff. Jordan's going to get the drop on the outside line. Dan Camish is on the inside as they head down towards turn 1. Can Jordan go round the outside and back? Second place, he's going to try. They lean on each other. The Honda comes out ahead. Jordan's up the curb as they dive down the avenue for the first time. Look at Turkington, he's gone already. Look at the gap he's pulled. Dan Cam goes second. Jordan on the inside line, breaks late, goes third. Tordoff is fourth, and it's Butcher fifth with Matt Neal sixth.
Perfect start from Colin Turkington. Got away, absolutely blistering start, but Camish was the forceful one. He got up the inside of Tordoff and then really forced the issue at turn 1 by pushing Jordan wide on the exit. Although it looks like Jordan may have an overlap coming out of the hairpin.
So down they come towards Hislop's for the first time. But Dan Camish hanging on to the pace. But look at the traffic jam for second place as Jordan has a look to the inside, locks up ever so slightly. Camish defending nicely as Turkington tries to build that race lead as they head out of Hislop's into Knickerbrook for the first time. Bobby Thompson there trying to gain ground at the expense of Carl Boardley. But Turkington it is that leads. Oliphant kicks up the dust in the background as the cars climb the hill for the first time now. But it's battle on for second place, and while they're holding each other up, that's playing right into the hands of the race leader, Colin Turkington.
Yeah, he needs to manage his pace now. Remember, he's on those soft tyres. He won't want to lead by more than he has to, but he's certainly made a great first lap, and Camish has secured that second place. He's on board with Goff, with Ollie Jackson just in front of him. Ollie Jackson hopefully concentrating on his racing this weekend. He's getting married to Emma next weekend.
So there are other things on his mind as the leaders go down towards Old Hall at the end of the opening lap, with Turkington already 1 second to the good. So Jack Goff is stuck for the moment, looking at Stephen Jelly, who loses out to Ollie Jackson, who goes through. Goff gets up the curb going into Druids, can't get past the 1 Series BMW. Stephen Jelly now tries to get the run. It's a good strong engine that he's got in that car, but he's up against another good strong engine, the Mountune Ford, as they come into the braking zone for Lodge Corner. Ollie Jackson fending him off. Jack Goff quick through the right-hander there, but which way does he go? He's got Jelly right in front of him. Can he make a move into Old Hall Corner?
Well, this is where he said he liked to pass people, didn't he? He was obviously trying to tee it up there, but couldn't quite get off the corner. Wow, Ollie Jackson, a bit of oversteer turning into the old Hall there. Look at that. There was a real twitch on the car as running wide looks like Daniel Rowbottom.
Gets it back, doesn't he? The lead gap is down, incidentally, from over a second to 9/10. So Camish, fastest lap of the race, is catching. He's being caught by Jordan. So look, it's all concertinaing. It's pretty much 6 in a line for the race lead. Ingram turns through, fending off the challenge at the moment of Jason Plato, who is under attack as well, because he's got Morgan and Sutton and Hill rounding out the top dozen, tucked up behind him. So there, Colin Turkington, the lead is diminishing, getting closer all the time is Camish, and that's Sutton to the outside of Adam Morgan down towards Hislop's. Mercedes versus Subaru, and through goes Ash Sutton into 10th place. That was a good pass.
That's a really good pass. I'm not sure how he pulled it off, because looking at the speed traps, the Subarus are 4 miles an hour slower in every speed trap. So quite how Ash Sutton managed to get round the outside there, I don't know.
not a champion for nothing, is he?
No.
So he's managed to make that move and he's made it stick. He's into the top 10. Here's the race leader then, Colin Turkington. It's Dan Camish, who, as I said earlier, has already done the fastest lap of the race, and he's hunting him down. He's brought down that gap. Then you've got Andrew Jordan third, and he's done an absolute best in the sectors, the first sector of this lap. So fascinating lead battle. It's a 15-lap race. 3 are in the book, and the lead gap is down again from 9/10. It's now 7/10. Camish on a mission, looking for his first win of the year.
Yeah, and he looks like he's just broken away from Andy Jordan a little bit. On that last lap, he was a 10th quicker, even though Jordan set his fastest lap. Now, we'll have to measure this and see whether it's Turkington managing the gap or whether it's Camish on a charge.
Now, this is Tom Chilton getting into the back of Jake Hill. That was at Lodge Corner, and he avoids the gravel, but he'll have picked up some damage on the front right of the Ford, and he loses a heap of places. Now, lead gap, just half a second. In sector 1 of this lap, Camish is quicker. In sector 2, Turkington is fractionally faster. So we're on to lap 5 of 15. There is the gap. Jordan a solid third. And look, the Honda's getting back, and off the road has gone Matt Neal at Druids. Look, he was off the road in the background, and he has stayed off the road, seemingly. So we have lost Matt Neal at Druids. And why would that have been? There he is, he's off the road. How much damage has that done? Is that going to be an interruption? Big damage, and a wheel off. Now, was that why the car didn't turn? Let's try and piece it together, Tim. You're on board.
Well, let's listen as well to the audio. Yeah, that was definitely something wrong, car failure, because he was well through the corner. He was past the apex then. He's okay. He's got a new crash helmet on this weekend. That hasn't brought him any luck for sure. A bit of a spaceman helmet, but something went wrong there. Either the wheel came off or there was a puncture and something broke and he went off and the wheel came off when he hit the wall, but that was clearly a car failure.
Not a Matt Neal mistake. Safety car deployed then, because that's in a dangerous place on the outside of Druids. Matt Neal is okay, clambers out, he's got the air conditioning tube to the helmet, so the safety car is deployed. And we are going to be racing once more. They'll come out of Dearly, up towards the timing line. Colin Turkington it is, who leads the way as they storm past us.
Yeah, Camish was right on his boot lid, but I think Turkington went a little bit earlier than he perhaps anticipated. But remember, before the safety car, he was 9/10 of a second behind. He's now only half a second.
So can Turkington stretch the margin, or is Camish going to be able to have a go? Well, for the moment, Camish is just edging clear of Jordan as they drop down towards Cascades. 4th is still Butcher, 5th is Tordoff, 6th is Oliphant, and then it's Tom Ingram in the Toyota just ahead of Plato, who has got his previous teammate, Ash Sutton, tucked right up behind him. Down towards Island Bend, Turkington has to think about defending, but so also does Jordan now. And there's contact there, look, Ingram versus Sutton. Plato gets up the inside of 1, possibly 2. So look, he's got ahead of the Subaru. He tries to get up alongside the Toyota Corolla. Sutton in the Subaru back alongside the Vauxhall as they come down towards Hislops. Ingram has got his place back, but it's Plato versus Sutton. Plato into the back of Ingram. Sutton's forced out wide across the grass. He's back on, slots in behind Plato and behind Morgan now.
Yeah, I think actually Morgan was into the back of Plato. If we see it again, I think there was a little tap from Morgan and that pushed him forward. So we'll see that again. But yeah, some dramatic racing on the restart.
And there you've got the jelly sandwich, if you like, because Stephen is sandwiched between the two motor-based Fords. So jelly in between shredded wheat here as they go down towards Lodge Corner. Ollie Jackson ahead, Tom Chilton behind. Right, look at Morgan. Does he get into the back of Plato? No.
No, you're right. It was just late braking, wasn't it? He was too late on the brakes.
And Morgan under attack now from Ash Sutton, and this is Chilton's view as he closes up onto the back of Stephen Jelly. The BMW from Team Parker Racing ahead as they come through Lodge, wide up the road ahead. That was Jake Hill. That opens the door, doesn't it? Because now Jackson is alongside him.
Ollie Jackson's made really good progress in this race, picking off cars at the right time, and that was an opportunist move. Hill making a little mistake on the exit of Lodge.
So Ollie Jackson goes through into 11th place now. And Sutton clips the back of Morgan. That's done suspension damage to the Mercedes, surely. Sutton has gone through, but can Adam Morgan keep going? I fear he's got damage on the left rear.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, broken rear tow rod. Well, Sutton is sort of forced into these manoeuvres because the car's slow. He's got a puncture, the tyres off, he'll pull off. Sutton's forced into these manoeuvres because the car's slow on the straight. He has to create new overtaking manoeuvres. And look, he just thinks there's an opportunity here, just mistimes it.
Another driving standards flag has been shown. This time it's for Sam Osborne. The lead gap 1.047 seconds last time around as they came over the timing line. Oliphant is still crawling all over the back of Sam Tordoff, and there, diving up the inside of Plato, is Ash Sutton, and he is coming through.
Yeah, passes his ex-teammate with another lunge on the brakes, so late on the brakes. Now, I guess the yellow flag has gone, and it's open season now into his lots, but Sutton's making progress at the end of this race, isn't he? But he'll rue those lost positions at the hairpin, at the chicane earlier in the race.
And as we saw earlier on, there was that incident between him and Morgan, which no doubt will be discussed. Here was the move. That was a really brave pass. I was going to say, Ash has always been an exciting driver to watch. There's more evidence of it. Through Druids then comes the reigning champion. Out of Druids, down towards Lodge Corner. Dan Camish chasing, and Andrew Jordan in third, banking points. But despite his car being lighter than Turkington's, not being able to really bring down that gap, but it's more solid points for him. The checkered flag, though, is about to be waved at the end of round 13 of the BTCC for 2019. A flash to the lights. Colin Turkington wins race 1 at Oulton Park. He comes across the line to win by 2 seconds from Dan Camish. Colin Turkington wins at Oulton Park from Dan Camish, with Andrew Jordan in third. Rory Butcher takes fourth ahead of Sam Tordoff, and then Tom Oliphant. The top 10 rounded out by Tom Ingram, Ash Sutton, Jason Plato and Ollie Jackson. So what does that do to the championship? It means 27 points now is the margin between Colin Turkington and Ash Sutton. Andrew Jordan's up to third ahead of Josh Cook. He drops to fourth. It's Rory Butcher fifth, Tom Chilton sixth from Dan Camish and Matt Neal. Tom Ingram is still ninth. Jason Plato rounds out the top 10.
Coming up, there's more British touring car action from Oulton Park. Welcome back. Let's return to Oulton Park and the British Touring Car Championship.
We're ready to go then. Colin Turkington on pole position, and Dan Camish, the man lining up alongside him. Round 14 of the Quick Fix British Touring Car Championship is about to get underway. Lights go red. Is Turkington going to storm away as the lights go out? Yes, he is. Jordan gets the jump on Camish. It's going to be BMWs 1 and 2, and Oliphant's away smartly as well. He goes for a gap in the middle as they dive down towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. Oliphant's up into fourth place. Dan Camish is the leading front-wheel driver, and as the AMD Honda runs out wide, the dust is settling at Old Hall. Turkington leads Jordan. Camish is third as they drop down to Cascades for the first time, with Tordoff and Butcher absolutely side by side there. Butcher on the inside and Tordoff just ahead on the outside, and there's drama. That's Sutton off the road.
We'll have to see what caused that, but exactly as we predicted at the front, with Turkington getting away cleanly, Jordan getting the better of Camish.
Jack Goff off the road. And into Chris Smiley. There was drama in the background. Somebody was on the grass. Josh, yes, we've lost Chris Smiley. Jack Goff was the one that was put on the grass on the inside and couldn't stop. There was damage on Ash Sutton's car, so we've had drama at the start, but poor old Chris Smiley, the innocent victim in all of that.
Yeah, Toad, that's the worst thing when you see a car on the grass unable to stop and aiming at Bobby Thompson, cutting across the chicane. Has he made contact with Matt Simpson as well? I don't know, but he's back on board. But it's always a frightening scenario, that.
Safety car at the end of lap 1 then. Safety car deployed. This is the first incident. Ash Sutton gets some damage, doesn't he? Because that was Rob Collard getting into the side of him, so that accounts for the first incident.
Yes, there was a touch, wasn't there?
Josh Cook was
Josh Cook, yeah. I think Josh Cook just got into the back of Goffey, and that was what put him on the grass.
Green flag's ready then. End of safety car period here at Oulton Park. Colin Turkington leads as they dive down towards Lodge Corner, and Turkington, Jordan, Camish is the order as we are about to go racing again at the end of lap 5. Green flags fly and everybody charges away down towards Old Hall Corner. Turkington it is then who has the advantage. Can he break away once more from the BMW Pertec racing car of Jordan? That's Moffat up the inside of Josh Cook, trying to prise open the door. They turn their way through the corner and dive down the hill now, but it's Turkington who has the advantage through Cascades now. Colin Turkington leads here at Oulton Park. We're racing again. It's Jordan second, it is Camish third. And as they come down towards Island Bend, it's BMW 1, 2, 4 with Tom Oliphant all over the back of Dan Camish.
Yeah, good restarts. Order stays the same at the front. Oh, bit of contact there further back. That was between...
That's Chilton and Hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Tom Chilton finding a way past. Don't forget they crossed swords in the first race. Here is Matt Neal, who's already up to 20th place. And there is Chilton and Hill, part 2 or part 3 or part 4. They're still at it. And it's the Audi going back ahead of the Ford now.
Who said you can't open? Oh, Tom Chilton's got a problem. He's run wide on the exit of Knickerbrook. Maybe he's got a puncture. Definitely got a problem with the left front. Hopefully he's still got a wheel on it, unlike Matt Neal. He's crawling now, but he's definitely out. And the wheel looks like it's still there. Might have been a bang resulting in a drive shaft or something, but he's still going around slowly.
The pace has gone, certainly, hasn't it? As look at Jordan coming under attack from Camish now. Out of Lodge Corner they come. All of that's going to play into Turkington's hands because he's going to build the gap while Jordan is defending. So Camish, and he'll know this, needs to get on with the job. Down to Old Hall Corner they come. Lap 7 we start as they turn through the right-hander. Chilton limps on, but Jordan has now got Camish crawling all over the back of him. Another place gained by Matt Neal, through for 16th on the inside against Carl Boardley. So Matt Neal proving everybody wrong by charging through the field, showing you can overtake. This is Hill round the outside of Jelly. Chilton tries to get up the inside. There's a big whack.
Yeah, that's what's damaged the left front, and that's what's hurt him.
Now, look, closing up a little bit under braking. Josh Cook's gained another place, up into 11th now at the expense of Jake Hill. So the surviving BTC Racing Honda going well. This is Matt Neal's view, and he now tries to line up to have a go at Aidan Moffat. This is for 13th and 14th places. Dan Rowbottom is behind them. Matt Neal to the inside, maybe. Little rub.
Wow, that was ever so late, wasn't it? But he got the car stopped, a little bit of rubbing, but that was a good pass, a typical Matt Neal pass, late on the brakes, up the inside, very late braking, but he stopped the car fine.
And now Dan Rowbottom thinks about having a go at Aidan Moffat as well. Sam Osborne has dropped back behind Mark Blundell, so a change for 26th place as they go over the brow. That is Matt Neal you're looking at, ahead of Moffat, ahead of Rowbottom. Out of Knickerbrook they come.
Great last-minute lunge there from Plato, and Jackson sensibly gives him room, but the move isn't finished yet.
Nose to tail over the line. Plato's got the inside line for Old Hall Corner. Stephen Jelly tries to go with them. Josh Cook waiting for it to end in tears ahead, maybe. Plato goes through. Jelly sends it up the inside as well. Jackson gets forced out wide. This is Josh Cook's chance. Yes, he's gained the place as well. Ollie Jackson, having been going so strongly, loses 3, loses 4 places. Jake Hill has got past him as well. And the next man to come up and attack is going to be Matt Neal.
Yeah, that little kerfuffle has allowed Matt Neal to close up on the group, but you've got to feel a little bit sorry for Ollie Jackson there. That small mistake just got him hung out to dry when there's a queue of cars all up the inside.
There's Matt Neal around the outside of Ollie Jackson now. Tries to get the run as they come up towards Hilltop, and he will go through. So Matt Neal has done it. Stephen Jelly comes up to have a go against Jason Plato. Jackson's trying to fight back in the background. But right now, Plato throws the car into his lots with Jelly crawling all over the back of him. And Josh Cook inching up onto the tail of the two of them. Can he get himself into the top 10 before the end of the race?
Great battle this, isn't it? Absolutely great battle.
Absolutely right. And you've got Matt Neal working his way through. It was Stephen Jelly that won the Dunlop Forever Forward award in race 1. Matt Neal's a shoe-in to win it in race 2, isn't he, the way that he's going? But again, mark of all that experience, all those championship wins, all those race wins coming from Matt Neal to show you how to do it around here. Down towards Lodge. Does he make a move against Jake Hill? Thinks about it, tries to force a mistake. Jelly nibbling at the back of the Vauxhall. Stephen Jelly lines up to try to get on the inside for Old Hall Corner. It's a strong engine that BMW has got, and Jelly should get the move done. Here they come. Over the timing line, Stephen Jelly is ahead, and he's 8th. Plato drops to 9th, then it's Cook, and then it's Matt Neal charging along in the Works Honda behind.
Yeah, that was a good move by Stephen Jelly, sort of inch perfect, no room between the two cars. Used that rear-wheel drive traction off Lodge Corner to just get the overlap, and that was enough.
Now you'll see the damage at the back of Tom Ingram's car. Tim identified a bit of damage on lap 1. It has got worse, so now the number plate effectively is trailing. Let's hope with what we've got 6 laps to go, that's not going to be a black and orange to bring him into the pit lane, because if it is, then that is going to ruin the race. But if it's dangerous, the officials are not going to want to let him continue.
No, well, I'm not going to predict what might happen. The best thing that can happen is it just falls off, obviously.
Yeah.
it is hanging slightly precariously. Oh no,
Sam
we've got Sam
Osborne.
Osborne hard into the tyres.
Coming out of Old Hall corner, and that could well be a safety car, because look where the car has ended up and look at the tyre barrier.
And remember, he was in the pits just a few laps ago. Michael Crease across the chicane, but I'm sure that's going to necessitate a safety car.
I would go along with that, and there is Adam Morgan getting ahead of Nicholas Hamilton. Safety car for the second time then in this race. The safety car is deployed once again. So Turkington on this lap 15 comes down towards Lodge Corner. He's already got, what, 3 lengths advantage over Andrew Jordan. In third place is Dan Camish, who's given another chance with them all bunched up to have a go at the BM ahead of him. But Turkington comes out of Dearly and starts to stretch the margin again, despite the weight that the car carries. Over the line, he's 7 tenths up as we go racing again.
Yeah, as Ingram was very wide coming out of Lodge, but manages to hold that position. Look, just turning in to the old hairpin in front of Butcher.
Tom Ingram wide over the curb at Old Hall, trying to get rid of that flapping bodywork off the back of the car, trying to dislodge it, and it's not quite worked, though it still is. Stephen Jelly's on the attack still, isn't he? And so is Josh Cook. Cook crawling all over the back of Plato, Jelly all over the back of Butcher. Lap 16 of 18, down to Island Bend. Turkington still has the advantage. Is anybody going to be a hero up the inside? Plato covers off Cook, who covers off Neil, but Josh does get up the inside of the Vauxhall. Has he got the drag to stay alongside? The answer is no.
Not quite, but Matt Neal's lurking ominously just behind them, isn't he?
Trying to attack one and attack two as they come down towards Hislops. Stephen Jelly in the BMW, right up behind Rory Butcher. And as Plato defends, that's Ingram all sideways. Has he caught it? He has, but he's going to lose a place, is he, to Butcher? Yes, the Honda goes through, and here comes Stephen Jelly to try to gain ground round the outside. Has Ingram got a problem? Has Ingram got a puncture? No.
He put a wheel on the grass, turning in. Turning into the final part, Knickerbrook, and that just slid him out wide. But it was just a wide turn in.
But the car's still looking edgy, doesn't it, as it did in qualifying?
It always does
yesterday.
Car.
Down to Lodge Corner, and now he's going to try and fend off Plato. Jelly right onto the back of Butcher. Nose to tail, those two, and up towards Dearly they will come. Turkington then will go through to start lap 17, side by side. Jelly to the inside of Butcher now. All of this is for 6th and 7th places, and Stephen Jelly goes through. Great drive this by Stephen Jelly.
Absolutely fantastic. He's picked his spot on the track where his car is strong, isn't it? And it's coming out of Lodge Corner, and he's using it to his advantage. Wow, it'd be fantastic to see Stephen Jelly in the Team Parker car on the front row for the last race.
Absolutely right. So on board with Matt Neal. Now Matt is 11th. His next target, there you can see him, is Josh Cook. Cook still looking for a way past Jason Plato. Ingram trying to buy back some of those lost places as they come through Island Bend, but it's not going to be easy now. Look, you've got Cook and Neal together. There's honour at stake here, of course. Independent Honda versus worked Honda, and Matt Neal desperately wants to be ahead. He's on the outside line down towards Hislop. Josh Cook brakes late, the nose dips. Matt Neal tries the outside, but he can't do it.
Josh thinks he's not going to let him through that easily. They may have, the cars may be the same, but obviously different teams completely. And Josh has got his own championship fight to think about. And also, most importantly, Hamilton stopped. Is that off the circuit? That's just a little bit of fuel in the exhaust. That'll burn off. Nothing to worry about. He's got going again. That's good. Hopefully no yellow flag anywhere, just a spin. But yes, you know, Josh, they both are fighting for that position because it could well be the pole for the race 3.
Ash Sutton's gained another place as well. He's up to 17th. This explains Nicholas Hamilton, I suspect. Contact with Adam Morgan, round he goes, and that's how he ended up backwards up the escape road at Hislops. So Nicholas Hamilton falls back. The race is on its last lap. Turkington leading by 1.5 seconds. There he is, so career win, 50 beckons for him. Colin Turkington looking so strong yet again. So the BMWs, 1st, 2nd and 4th. Andrew Jordan in 2nd place there. Look, still with Camish bearing down on him. Tom Oliphant 4th as they come towards Island Bend. But Colin Turkington, again, with maximum weight, heading for a win.
Yeah, it's going to be an imperious drive, much as we expected after pole position in this exact same specification of weight and tyre. Jordan has not quite been able to go with him, despite being on the same tyre and slightly lighter. Camish, I think, has been exemplary to maintain his soft tyres, and he's been the leading front-wheel drive car in both the first 2 races.
Absolutely, and then Tom Oliphant, who has been on the podium this year, best of the rest, he's 4th. Fending off still, Sam Torloff and Stephen Jelly, who's also been on the podium this year. Great effort for 6th place, but Colin Turkington then, at a circuit he always goes well at, comes out of Druids, 1.5 seconds in hand. Where is he going to end up on the reversed grid for race 3? could he even win a third race? It'd be asking a lot, but wow, what a day he's had so far. Win number 2 of the day, win number 4 of the season, win number 50 of his British Touring Car Championship career. Colin Turkington wins race 2 at Oulton Park from Andrew Jordan and Dan Camish. Tom Oliphant 4th, Sam Tordoff 5th, Stephen Jelly 6th, ahead of Butcher, Ingram, Plato, Cook to round out the top 10, Matt Neal 11th. Jake Hill is 12th, ahead of Jackson, Moffat and Dan Rowbottom in the points for the first time in his touring car career. And that is Rob Smith with damage at Lodge. At the end of the race, he's got it wrong coming out of Lodge. That's Deer Leap where it's ended up. He gets involved, look, with the Volkswagen, heading for the barrier. Round he goes. Does he go over? He very, very, very nearly goes over. Wow. Yeah, Rob Smith is okay, which is great news. Good reception as he got out of the car, but... So Colin Turkington wins round 14 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship, just over a second clear of Andrew Jordan, with Dan Camish 3rd heading the front-wheel drive charge, Tom Oliphant 4th from Sam Tordoff, and then Stephen Jelly, great guns, going well in 6th place. 7th Rory Butcher from Tom Ingram after his little error at his locks, 9th Jason Plato, and Josh Cook rounds out the top 10. Now, what does all this do to the championship? Colin Turkington and Andrew Jordan now the top 2. Andrew up to 2nd. Josh Cook back up to 3rd. And Ash Sutton drops down to 4th. Rory Butcher 5th, ahead of Dan Camish and then Matt Neal. Tom Chilton is 8th. Tom Ingram is 9th. Jason Plato is 10th. 38 points between the 2 BMW drivers at the top of the tree.
Next, it's more British Touring Car Championship action from Oulton Park. Hello again from Oulton Park and the British Touring Car Championship.
Now we are ready for the last race of the day. Now here's another man that's got work to do from 28th on the grid. Tom Chilton's had a shocker of a day. Yeah, that instant last race, we saw him pull up with a problem on the left front. It was actually a broken tie rod on the front suspension. So he is mired at the back. Round 15 of the championship is about to get underway. Lights go out, away we go. Good start by Jake Hill, good start by Plato as well. Stephen Jelly is in the mix, don't forget, with his rear-wheel drive BMW. He goes to the outside line at turn 1. Jake Hill tries to defend from Matt Neal, and Jason Plato tries to get up the inside of the Honda, but he can't do it. Tom Ingram is looking to slot into 4th place as they plunge downhill for the first time. Jake Hill leads the way. Matt Neal has a look to the inside, but also has to defend from Plato. Very good start by Jake Hill. Good reactions and good traction. He was away, and Matt Neal sort of sensibly went round the outside, left a bit of space on the inside. Plato was ever so close to catching the back of Neal's car, but all safely round. You have to go back to the days of Rob Austin to have the last Audi win in the championship. Jake Hill leads the way as they come up towards the brow of the hill. Tom Ingram is about to lose out, is he, as Rory Butcher tries to go through? Yes, he does. They're side by side, they're mirror to mirror. The Toyota on the inside line breaks late. Ingram goes back through. Stephen Jelly tries to squeeze up the inside, but he can't do it. But Ingram in the Toyota just keeps the Honda at bay. And in the background, I saw a BMW on the grass. I'm not sure which one it was. It was further back than Oliphant, I think. It was in the region of where Turkington was, but he's still going fine. Up towards Druids then for the first time. You've got Chris Smiley making progress from the very back of the grid. He's wriggled past a few already as up to Druids they turn. Headlights ablaze. Smiley is a man on a mission. He's somebody else with nothing to lose here. Josh Cook's trying to make progress as well as they come towards the end of lap 1. So Jake Hill is going to get a point for leading a lap in the touring car, isn't he, as he comes up out of Deer Leap. And not only does he lead at the end of lap 1, and Oliphant there goes a little bit wide. Stephen Jelly is alongside Oliphant, but also Jake Hill has got an advantage of 3/10 over Matt Neal. Stephen Jelly on the inside line. Is he going to go back ahead of Oliphant? Yes, he is. Well, Stephen Jelly's continuing his great form. He gets a little bit sideways there, but yeah, makes the pass into Old Hall. Side by side again, down towards Cascades. Jelly on the inside, Oliphant trying to find a way through as well. Sam Tordoff, ex-BMW racer, is in the mix. Josh Cook is catching, and Matt Neal is alongside Jake Hill for the race lead. Down towards Island Bend, Matt's ahead, there's contact. Jake Hill comes back up the inside after the contact, and now Jason Plato tries to get past Matt Neal. Oh no, you don't, says Matt, who has another go at Jake Hill. So here you go, you've got one of the young guns versus an old pro in the championship. Jake Hill hugs the inside down towards his lot, and he keeps the race lead. I told you he was going to fight and not make it easy, and Matt Neal quicker out of Cascades and along the straight, but there's no way that Jake Hill was going to give him the inside. And of course, if
if he holds Matt Neal up, then Plato will have a little nibble, won't he, at some point?
And if they hold each other up, Tom Ingram fourth might get into the mix as well. Behind him is Rory Butcher, then it's Stephen Jelly. Butcher looking really racy at the moment, isn't he? As the older style Honda gets onto the back of the Toyota Corolla. Down they come towards Lodge. Still Jake Hill leads the way, hugs the inside line. Matt Neal brakes as late as he can, looks to try to get up alongside the Audi. Here comes the move. Up Deer Leap, that's going to try to put him on the inside, down towards Old Hall Corner. Matt Neal should get the job done. Side by side, down towards the braking zone. Matt Neal on the tighter inside line, goes through.
Yeah, absolutely perfect pass. Oh no, oh no!
Contact from behind, Matt gets sideways and in the melee. Have they all missed him? No, Ingram's involved. Plato's off the road. How bad is the Ingram damage, or has he just had a big spin? It's damaged the front of the car. But did he get collected? Did Matt Neal get hit by anybody? We'll find out now. Matt Neal continues.
Yeah, Matt Neal crawling round.
Plato,
he's involved. That looks like, hopefully that's just, yeah, he's pulling straight off. But I was going to say, I hope that's not, that might be oil. That might be oil, because that's why they've all gone straight on.
Camish is off the road, Ingram is off the road. I think Chris Smiley was going off as well on that previous shot, so there's liquid down, certainly. Yellow flags are waving. Look, they're all going up the escape road and trying to find a way back onto the circuit. So, order shuffles hugely. Out of all of that, who now is the race leader? Because that's Jake Hill on his own, and everybody else having to slow to avoid the carnage coming out of Old Hall. Jake Hill is away and gone, unless the officials decide that he has a case to answer for Matt Neal's off.
Yes, which is possible, or there could be a safety car or any other number of things. But that looked a little bit unfortunate, because I thought Matt Neal was clearly through, and Jake just tapped the rear of him on the exit. We'll see a replay of it. And then with the oil down, it scattered the rest of the field as well, and lots of drama.
Absolutely right. You can see there are walking wounded in all of this. So Jake Hill leads. Now this is the replay. Matt Neal is ahead, but look at the front of Jake Hill's car.
Neal just taps him there. And obviously Neal has no way of controlling it. We can't even see what happens in the cloud of smoke and tyre smoke, but clearly Ingram and Plato went charging off to the left, didn't they, to get out of it. There you can see the oil on the track. Look at the oil there. Yeah. So they're just all going to have to go down the inside, which will pretty much mean there'll be no overtaking there.
So the slippery surface flag is out. So it means that Hill leads from Butcher. Stephen Jelly for Team Parker Racing is third now. It's Tordoff fourth, it's Oliphant fifth, Jordan is sixth, Cook seventh, Turkington is eighth, ninth is Sutton, 10th is Moffat, Carl Boardley is 11th, Ollie Jackson is 12th, Adam Morgan's up to 13th, Matt Simpson 14th, and Dan Rowbottom is in 15th place. Matt Neal 17th over the line.
Yeah, so from what we can see, nobody actually collected Matt Neal, and he's still going, isn't he? He wouldn't still be going in 17th place. There we are, on board with him, and he seems to be running fine. The only danger is grass in the intake, but clearly nobody hit him, and that was the biggest worry in that spin.
Chris Smiley is in the pit lane, so he got involved in something somewhere. I think he was another up the escape road. So Plato we have lost. Smiley is in the pit. Collard has fallen to the back of the pack in 26th. Dan Camish down to 24th. He was involved. Ingram 22nd. Chris Smiley's just rejoined the race. Now this is on board with Matt Neal. Talk us through it.
Well, Matt Neal did the perfect switchback. He got his timing absolutely right. Used the extra momentum and being early on the throttle to get through. All you're going to see from this shot is a big tail wagging shot as he goes around and then around again. Actually, he saved it from going round again and brought it across the grass with some use of the throttle, and fortunately nobody hit him.
Miraculous, wasn't it, that? Because in all of that smoke, people trying to dodge something they don't know where it might be. Amazing that Matt Neal didn't get drilled. So, the real casualty, sadly, Jason Plato, who was looking so strong early on in the race. Jake Hill's advantage is 5.4 seconds. Now, although people have been up the escape road, although we've got oil down, no safety car, because actually there's nothing in harm's way. So, that lead now is really there for Rory Butcher to try to carve into.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've all seen the oil, they know it's there, it's covered by a yellow flag, so there's no need for a safety car. You know, the biggest issue after this race is going to be whether Jake Hill gets a penalty for that, and I suspect I probably wouldn't want to be arguing. This is what I was worried about. I thought it might have just been tyre smoke, but it looked a bit more than that, and there obviously was a load of oil. I mean, Plato did the right thing and just drove off the circuit, but of course nobody could brake on the oil.
So Jake Hill leads the way on the road, and in second place it's this long line headed by Rory Butcher, Stephen Jelly in third place. So Jake Hill's advantage now, is it going up, is it coming down? It's coming down a bit, 5.1 seconds now to Butcher. Jelly third, Torndorf runs fourth, Oliphant fifth, sixth is Jordan, seventh there is Cook, but he's under attack from Colin Turkington as they go through Old Hall Corner now. In ninth place it's Ash Sutton, and 10th is Aidan Moffat, but he's under attack from Ollie Jackson. There they are, nose to tail in the background.
Yeah, just looking at our sort of championship drivers who we haven't mentioned through this. Turkington has come through unscathed and is in 8th place. Jordan is in 6th, so a couple of places between them. Sutton is actually just behind Turkington in 9th. And there you have it.
Josh Cook 7th at the moment, under attack from Turkington. So 3 of the guns in the championship all running as one. Now, as far as the lead is concerned, another 10th pulled back by Rory Butcher within the first sector. Matt Neal recovering. He was 17th. He's up to 15th place, but he will be furious, won't he?
He will be furious because that was absolutely a win. He'd done his bit nice and cleanly. He got through cleanly and got tagged on the exit of the corner, and it could have been a lot worse. And yeah, he will be absolutely livid, and I dare say Dynamics will be calling for blood, shall we say, up in the bus with Ian Watson.
Jake Hill is not the tallest of people. He only weighs about 4 stone wet through, and when Matt Neal looms over him to give him a piece of his mind at the end of this, it will be quite an imposing sight. We are on lap 6 at the moment. Jake Hill does lead the way. There, going through, is Chris Smiley. Now, he's made a pit stop, so he's a lap down, and he's way out of the points. This just becomes a test session now, really, for the team. Now, the lead gap is down to 4.7 seconds. Rory Butcher, on lap 7 of 15, is closing on the leader.
Yeah, just a bit. You know, on that lap, he was 0.4 of a second, but he's going to have to do a lot of those 0.4 of a second. Look at that oil there. Such a lot of oil. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to be too hard on Jake because we all love him. We'd all like to see him win a race. He's got a lot of supporters, but that was an error of judgment that could have had really nasty consequences.
So as they come out of Island Bend, there you've got Josh Cook keeping Colin Turkington behind him. Turkington is under attack from Ash Sutton, who's been really brave in his moves during the course of the day. What can he do about Turkington? Can the BMW get past the Josh Cook Honda here? Remember, Colin Turkington's on maximum weight after 2 race wins. This is lap 7. So in sector 1 this time, another 10th pullback by Butcher. In sector 2, 2 10ths pullback by Butcher. He's getting on with the job, as there you see a trim trailing Turkington go through Druids. Down they come towards Lodge Corner. And Stephen Jelly hanging on to his 3rd place as Turkington gets into the back of Josh Cook. Josh hangs on to it, but now Sutton comes round the outside, looking to take a place away from Turkington and points away, and he's done it. He's ahead.
Sutton is such a spontaneous driver, doesn't it? He doesn't have to think twice. If there's an opportunity, bam, he's in there. I was going to say how frustrated he must have been coming out of the hairpin on the last lap, because he had just as good an exit as Turkington, who's on 48 kilos, but the aero of that BMW, together with its motor, he just pulled away from Sutton, and we'll see what happens on this next lap.
Replay of Tom Ingram catching the oil and having another moment at the Island hairpin. It is not his race, unfortunately. Ollie Jackson delayed up the curb, so Carl Boardley gets ahead of him. Boardley in 15th place now and goes wide, and that's going to let Jackson come back at him. There's Chilton, there's Rowbottom, there's Camish, all in the mix as well behind.
Yeah, I was hoping Daniel Rowbottom might get in the points again. He was only 1 place off them, but he looks like he's going to drop a few more places.
Let's have a look. He's in the mix, isn't he? He's trying to buy back ground if he can, but Chilton is the beneficiary on this lap because he's managed to gain 2 places at least. Rowbottom to the inside of Jackson, who's got damage at the rear of the car. Rowbottom also gets a helping hand there from Bobby Thompson going up Clay Hill out of Knickerbrook. And behind them, you've got the recovering Dan Camish down in 20th spot. He was one caught out by the oil.
Yeah, he was one that went straight on and had to do his 3-point turn.
Yeah, that's right. So hasn't been involved in an incident as such, but was a victim of circumstance. Now, the leading gap is 1.6 seconds. Rory Butcher is almost up with Jake Hill now. So the AMDtuning.com run Honda is closing onto the AMDtuning.com run Audi. Either way, Sean Hollanby can't lose here.
That's very true. He's going to win one way or the other. Yeah.
Got these 2 satellite teams, and Jake Hill leads the way. He's never had a touring car win. Rory Butcher has never taken the checkered flag first. He's only inherited it in the steward's room, so he has been a winner, but he would love to be an on-the-road winner. Stephen Jelly in third would quite like them to trip over themselves and he could bag a win. Behind him in third place is toured off, and then there's Tom Oliphant running in fifth in the BMW, still looking for a way past, and now having a go on the outside line down towards Hislops. He's ahead, but he's on the outside line, and so toured off gets the place back.
Yeah, you can go around the outside there, but generally the guy on the inside doesn't brake until you brake, so it's really difficult.
Out of the right-hander of Knickerbrook they come. Up Clay Hill. Jake Hill's advantage is being eroded all the time. And now that Rory Butcher can see the Audi ahead of him, he is charging. Up towards Druids they come. There are the race leaders, down now towards Lodge.
And the gap visibly coming down now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably 2 more laps, and I think Hill will have to start defending from Butcher, which could give an advantage to Jelly. Don't forget, Jelly is on a really fantastic weekend at the moment, and he's not far away.
So Audi leads, Rockingham 2014, the last Audi win for Rob Austin. That was the A4, not the S3, but Audi 9/10 of the second clear of Honda. BMW third, Honda fourth, BMW fifth and sixth. Then it's Honda, Subaru, BMW and Mercedes. Aidan Moffat, not really mentioned yet, the Laser Tools racing car, doing a great job in 10th place. Mike Bushell, who engineers Rory Butcher's car, looks on from the Honda side of the AMDtuning.com area in the pit lane, and he and everybody else can see the gap coming down and down and down as their Carl Boardley and Ollie Jackson squabble going now through Cascades. Boardley was ahead of Jackson at the start of the lap. This is for 15th. This is for the last point. Down towards Island Bend they come. Carl Boardley, we know, is a scrapper from his days in pickups and Ginettas, never mind national hot rods, and he stays ahead of Jackson.
Yeah, Ollie Jackson there, he was on the outside where the oil is, so he had to brake a bit early. But look, at the end of this lap, I do think that Butcher's going to be there. We know that car's very good on the brakes, always been a trademark of that Honda.
And Rory's a brave driver, still underrated, but he's proving now that he's the equal of many on this grid. Jake Hill, though, still doing this great job. I mean, he's not put a wheel wrong, has he? Ignore that Matt Neal incident for the moment. Every other time we've looked at him, out on track, he's looked like he's been leading touring car races for years. Out of Deer Leap he comes. Now, the gap was 0.9 of a second. The gap is 0.3 of a second with 3 laps to go. It's game on now. Jake Hill versus Rory Butcher for the win.
Yeah, both on the prime tyres. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 cars on the soft tyre. Tom Oliphant, the leading one of those, on in 5th place.
Right, so if you can't overtake it on Island Bend because of the oil, where else can you do it? Rory Butcher inching up onto the tail of the Audi. Down they come into the hairpin. So it's Jake Hill now who's got to make that car as wide as possible. Stephen Jelly in 3rd place, not really close enough to profit, but if he can get on the podium, he'll be chuffed to bits for Stuart Parker's team. Butcher has done the fastest lap of the race. He is quicker in sector 1, and they are almost together now, coming into Hislops.
Yeah, well, the best place is into Lodge at the final corner, but you know, you just know that Jake is going to put that car right on the inside, and if you try and go around the outside, he's going to put you on the grass.
Here they come, out of Clay Hill, up towards Druids. Past the water tower, and then set the car up for that double apex right. Stephen Jelly, sensing that a battle might be brewing ahead of him, is still tonking along, trying to bring down that gap. Here are the race leaders. So Rory Butcher has done all the hard work of catching. Is he now close enough to start thinking about making a move? Yes, he is. Right onto the tail, diving down towards Lodge. Now there's even more pressure for Jake Hill as Tom Oliphant has a go at Sam Tordoff. Not for the first time. Tordoff again, though, there. A little bit wide. Here comes Oliphant. He's got the run. There are the leaders. It's still 3/10 between them. Into Old Hall corner. Look back. Oliphant's got the inside line. Through he goes. Finally, he's done it. Tom Oliphant goes forward, and he's worked hard for that.
He has. He's driven really well this weekend. You know, still in the shadow of Andy Jordan and Colin Turkington, but his results should not be underestimated. I do think Tom Oliphant's done an excellent job this weekend.
And bit by bit, round by round, he gets more and more competitive. He's more of a factor as the leaders come into Island Bend. Butcher to the outside, goes straight on. Is he thrown it away? Here comes Jelly. Stephen Jelly goes up the inside. He takes second, and Rory Butcher, did he catch the oil? Well, either way, he has slithered off the road, and Jake Hill, with 2 laps to go, has a huge gap once again. Now it's over Stephen Jelly. There were 2 seconds between them at the start of this lap. They can't believe what they've just seen in the Honda side of the AMD garages there. Stephen Jelly now is the man doing the chasing. there's still no doubt this Damocletian discussion hanging over Jake Hill post-race, but for now all he can do is just focus on his own driving. What a drive it's been.
It has been a great drive, and that was a real mistake there, wasn't it, from Butcher? He just thought maybe that the oil had dried out enough and that he could use that to get a wider line and cut back, but there was no way. It was just too slippery. Stephen Jelly could be the winner of this race.
Absolutely, because there could yet be a penalty for Jake Hill. We've not had a suggestion that he's under investigation, but it might well be looked at post-race. So Stephen Jelly is the man doing the pushing now. He's not going to make up the time with a lap to go. It's 1.6 seconds, but Jake Hill is the race leader, and if you take this at face value, we can do nothing else. He's going to be a first-time winner. The gap is down from 2.1 to 1.6 seconds. Tom Oliphant's going to be on the podium for the second time this year. No matter what Stephen Jelly does on this last lap, surely the gap is too great.
Yeah, it is. There's no doubt Jake Hill is going to be the provisional winner. He's going to take the win on the road, but in much the same way that Tom Chilton lost a race win at Brands Hatch at the very first meeting of the year, it could be taken away in the stewards' room. So it's going to be either Hill or Jelly is the winner, but on the road, Jake Hill has done enough.
And so the gap, 1.6 seconds at the start of the lap. It illustrates, doesn't it, some of the people that sometimes you overlook in midfield are working just as hard and are just as talented as others up at the front. Here has been a chance for Jake Hill to showcase his ability. Rory Butcher 6th after getting onto the oil. So up towards Druids for the last time they come. We've had dramas at Old Hall, incidentally. There's a yellow flag out, but it won't affect things because we're on the last lap. Matt Simpson it is. There he is, I'm afraid, who's off the road. But Jake Hill leads at Oulton Park. Jake Hill is going to win at Oulton Park. He comes down towards Lodge Corner. Stephen Jelly is the man in second place. Jake Hill, there's never a huge budget, but there's always a huge amount of effort, and it's going to reap rewards today. Jake Hill wins for the first time in the British Touring Car Championship. Jake Hill, the winner of round 15 of the championship at Oulton Park, with Stephen Jelly second, Tom Oliphant third, and also the leading manufacturer entered home, ahead of Sam Tordoff and then Andrew Jordan. Rory Butcher sixth, ahead of Josh Cook and Ash Sutton. Colin Turkington ninth, and Aidan Moffat rounds out the top 10. Right, so what does all this do to the championship? What a day it has been. Well, the one constant, Colin Turkington leads, Andrew Jordan leaves Oulton Park up to second, Josh Cook is third, then it's Rory Butcher, Ash Sutton drops to fifth, Dan Camish is next from Matt Neal and Tom Chilton, Tom Ingram is ninth, and Jason Plato rounds out the top 10.
Celebrations for Hill were cut short post-race after he was adjudged to have caused the accident involving Neal. 20 seconds was subsequently added to Hill's race time, which ensured Jelly would take his first win since Rockingham 10 years ago. Next time out, the British Touring Car Championship is at Snetterton.
Coming up after the break, we head to the streets of Diriyah in Saudi Arabia for the opening round of the 2019-20 FIA Formula E Championship. It's race 1 of the Diriyah E-Prix.